Today I'm going to talk about my YouTube audio setup, and the reason I came up with this particular design was I don't have a whole lot of time to make YouTube videos, so when I do, I don't want anything like in my way. So I can just roll this system into place, position the arm, flip on the lights and camera and hit record and go at it. That's the reason I came up with this. Now the crazy thing, the other day, Caleb Pike posted a video on his audio setup, and I was kind of like blown away how many similarities our two systems have. It's kind of scary how close they are in design. Now, we're both busy people, and it makes sense that we would solve the same problem in a similar way. It's just kind of eerie how close these are. So let's take a look at my system. We're going to start here at the bottom. And this is, it's based on a roller stand. And this is a Mole Richardson roller stand. Now, I bought these stands like back in the 90s. And they were pretty beat up when I bought them. But they're really good quality stands. And I've been using them for a long time. On the stand, next thing up would be the ubiquitous Sony 7506, that's it, right? The headphones have little fuzzy ear cups on these. That's just to check my audio, make sure everything sounds cool before I, move to something else. The rest of the system, let's look at the meat and potatoes here. This is a Manfrotto nano clamp. Magic arm, just a generic kind of cheap magic arm. And that's mounted into this L bracket here on the bottom. So to look at what, the way this is set up is I have the nano clamp, the arm, and then this L bracket. It's the other half of that one. And then my recorder sits on here, and then I have a thumb screw going into that. There's another thumb screw coming in the back to the plate that comes with my wireless system. The recorder is a Sound Devices Mix Pre 6. This is way overkill for YouTube videos, but I have this because I do location sound for a bunch of my friends. And this is kind of like my location sound recorder. On top of it, I have a piece of 1/4-inch plywood that I painted black that I have the spiky side of Velcro on there. And this is different than Caleb. He has a cheese plate with the soft side of the Velcro. I have the plywood because I didn't have a cheese plate on me. I needed something right away. I do have call it a T-nut in here that threads in from the recorder. Now, the reason I do it the opposite way of Caleb is for my particular situation, my location audio bag has fuzzy interior walls. And this allows me to put the recorder in there and just stick it to the wall of my location bag. And then the recorder stays put. I actually had done that for that purpose. And then eventually I was just setting my battery up here. So I just stuck a couple of strips of Velcro on there to keep my battery from accidentally falling off. Now this is a massive battery. It's 26,800 milliamp hours. Is that right? That's a crazy amount of, 26,800. This thing will last me all weekend on a shoot, power and multiple phantom power requiring microphones and the recorder, just craziness. On the back, I have a backup power in case the USB-C cable gets unplugged from the battery or the recorder, and that just will keep the recorder running if something like that happens. And in there I have 4 AA batteries. They're Panasonic Antelope, just the version 4 white rechargeable batteries. The wireless system, this is a replacement for my old one. I had the Sennheiser G3 system. I had several of those. And they changed the laws in the United States for the frequencies that we could use on those systems, and all of mine became illegal, so I could no longer use them with the current laws. So I had to get a new one, and I bought this Saramonic kind of as a quick backup to get me through a couple of short films I was helping on. I really like this system. I mean, I haven't had any problems at all with it. The price is really good. It comes with 2 transmitters and the receiver. The receiver works with both transmitters at the same time, and it has 2, lav mics, but I don't use those. They're not great. They're serviceable, but not great. But for $250, that's a pretty good deal for a pretty solid system. And moving up, here's another thing that's a little different than the way Caleb has it. Caleb has the Rode arm up here on his. I think this arm and the Rode one might be made by the same company because these parts look exactly the same. But this is the Auray, something like that. Caleb has this arm. He took this thread I brought out and stuck a baby receiver right onto this. But I found that this is kind of flexes a little bit. I used to just mount I take the grip head and just clamp it onto here. But what I do now is I have the rod going straight into one of my just grip heads. And it was a little bit loose, so I went around it a couple of times with some gaff tape, and then I snugged it back up, and that has been working just fine. So let's move this down. So like I said, I have the arms rod right into a grip head, and to turn it, the whole grip head, I just let that rotate. If I want to lock it into place, I'll use this, but I usually don't. I usually leave it just a little bit loose. And then this is actually the real key to this system, is I can roll this to where I want. I can pull this microphone over to where I need it, position it, and go. I can just position it exactly where I need it, wherever I'm shooting in my studio. And so this would be way up here, and the entire arm would be up above the camera's frame. So this is like the key of the system. So moving to the microphone, this is the Audio-Technica 4053B. This is a hypercardioid condenser microphone. Does require phantom power, a super clean sounding mic. This is my main boom mic when I'm indoors. This is the boom mic that I usually use on sets for indoor dialogue. It's also a great mic for recording instruments because it has a nice full range. If I was going to make this system cheaper though, you don't really need a $1,000 recorder and a $600 mic, especially for YouTube videos. So I would definitely save on the equipment. I would buy cheaper equipment. But I wouldn't really cheap out on this part right here. This arm is about $100. You can get the Rode one also, still about $100. They do have like $15 or $20 ones on Amazon or eBay. I haven't had great luck with those, but if you're on a super tight budget, that would probably be okay for a while. I would definitely, this is too much for a microphone for YouTube video, in my opinion. The next step down from this would be like the Audio-Technica 875R, which is a good all-arounder if you're a filmmaker. I recommend that to a lot of people. It's not perfect, but $160 for a microphone that has phantom power and XLR and can kind of do a lot of things well, but not great. If I was going to go with that and you wanted a cheaper recorder, you could get something like this Tascam DR40, I think is what it is. Pretty good, recorder with XLR inputs. If you're going cheaper than that, I would say the Rode Video Micro would be a great microphone. Another option would be this Movo VR10 and VXR10. Very similar mics. They both come with wind protection and shock mount. This one's $40. The Rode's $60. Kind of on the fence. I think the Rode might sound a little better. This one has a higher signal voltage than the Rode. They're both really good mics. You can't go wrong with either one of them. They do require plug-in power though. So you'll probably need something like Zoom H1 or H1N. And those are really good, like handy recorders if you're just out and about. So the key is, if you're gonna spend money on the system, do it on this arm right here, and then buying a good quality stand. I do like having the roller stand, but that's not a necessity. I have used it on a big C-stand, and I don't have a problem just like grabbing the C-stand and moving it to where I need it. Either way, I've used that either way. But a good quality stand and the arm is key. And then, you know, mounting the rest of your equipment on the system so it's one unit you can move around in the shop. If you have any questions about audio or any other type of setup I have here in the studio, leave me a comment. Caleb, if you're watching this, let me know you've seen it. What do you think about my crazy expensive YouTube audio setup? That's all I have today. I love you all, and I hope to see you in the comments.